Namaste students, Kushwa Vidya. I, JVM Dr. Vaishnavi, Assistant Professor Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. In today's session, we are going to discuss about the theory of development, that is Piaget theory. Development refers to the growth, adaptation, and change that occur over the course of lifetime. So, through the process of development, we have all changed significantly in different ways. While change in one physical makeup or the physical development may be the most apparent from the development, people also develop in their ability to form the use of the language, interact with others, that is social development in the process of the information and make meaning from the experience, cognitive development. Different theories have been evolved by the psychologists, which will identify the significance of each development. Cognitive theory of development. The cognitive theory of development was given by the Swiss psychologist James Piaget and is well known for this theory, which describes how a human gather and organize the information. How this process changed developmentally. Piaget used a clinical description method to collect his research data. The method involved asking the children carefully selected questions and recording this response along the uh, observation of the children for their activity. Although he frequently observed number of children he observed was longitudinal in nature, that is, following the development in the same children over a period of years. While much of his energy and early work was based on the systemic observation of his own three children, a large number of his later work was based on the statistical relationship. So, basic concept of cognitive concept given by Piaget was four concepts which he used and explained how and why cognitive development occurs. This includes the schema, assimilation, accommodation, and equilibrium. Schema is the Piaget's use this term scheme to refer to the cognitive structures by which individuals intellectually adopt and to organize their environment. Based on his interest in biology, Piaget postulates that mind has mental structure just as the body has physical structure. Piaget suggested that when an organism encounters stimulation or a new experience and relies on the structure to assist or to adopt, the same as that of the human body organized with a various structures such as the stomach, kidney, lungs, heart, which assist on doing the ongoing activities. So as to the mind has a structure in the same way which facilitates the adaptation in the experiences. Assimilation, this process of integrating the new perceptions, moreover, more conceptual or materialistic experience into an existing schemata and is termed as assimilation. Teachers often facilitate the student using the assimilation by connecting the new material of student existing knowledge. That is, with the new knowledge with the pre-existing knowledge, thus often watching the new concept. A child may discover a new thing with correlating with that of pre-existing material in his memory. So the accommodation, when this process of assimilation is not possible because there is no such schemata into which it fits into the data or characteristic of the available scheme or new scheme was to be developed in order to adopt the new or unique experience. This process of creating a new scheme or the Piaget accommodation. Equilibrization or equilibrium. Piaget hypothesized that such the regulatory process called equilibrium operated by or in all adults. This equilibrium is a state of balance between the assimilation and accommodation. Piaget believed that one was to set up a state of cognitive disequilibrium in which the child is thrown into the cognitive conflict. When he expects something to happen a certain way and it does not. Pilot stage to cognitive development is according to Pilot, the cognitive development unfolds as the child passes through four distinct, that is qualitative stage, different stage, or sensomotory, or pre-operational, or complete operation, or a complete operation and formal operational stage. The fourth stage of intellectual development, that is cognitive period and appropriate stage. Sensory motor period, that is from birth 18 to 24 months. Pre-operational period, that is 2 to 7 years. Concrete operational period is 7 to 11 years. And the formal operational period is over 11 years. The sensoromotor period is, according to the Piaget, the first stage of the intellectual development in which the child moves from the reflective activity of reaching or grasping or sucking to get more or higher organized forms of the activities. The infant began to understand that there is a difference between him or herself or the rest of the world, and the sensory experiences received in fact are suggestive of the existence or the object or the event or existence outside themselves. The development of the object or the permanence expansion in the infant was beyond the immediate or direct feelings. So another, it is like a milestone of sensory motor period where the development of begins of the problem solving ability. The next is the pre-operational period. This stage, the Piaget theory of cognitive development, in which the lack of logistic operation forces the child to make decisions based on their perception. So between the age of 2 to 7, the mental ability becomes an unfold and fully as advanced in language development. So next is the egocentrism. The Piaget describes the pre-operational children thinking as ego-centered. That is, pre-operational child cannot put themselves in another stage or sometimes else perspective. Considering the 4-year-old child who was labeled on right hand and left hand but cannot identify the right and left hand of his friend. So Piaget emphasized that the egocentrism has nothing to do with the selfishness but merely reflects the qualitative limitations in the thinking apparent during the pre-operational stage. As the child gets older, the egocentrism, or by the age of 6, the child exhibits less egocentrism than the child of age of 3. Centration, another character of pre-operational thoughts or centration or concentration as one of the only aspect or object or activity, usually the aspect that perceptually dominant. For an instant, a child of 4 or 5 years presented with 2 rows of the object, in which one row is 9 objects and second row has longer rows or even 7 objects. The pre-operational child will typically select the longer row as there is more objects, even though the child knows that 9 is more than 7. The inability to reverse the operation. In this picture, the pre-operational, they thought it is the inability to reverse one's thinking. That is, understanding subtraction is the prime example. Preschooling may have to learn that 1 plus 1 is 2, but cannot comprehend with 2 minus 1 is 1 or a boundary. The case of the pre-operational child who is presented with the 2 identical glass, both short and fat in shapes. So that the water from one of the glasses poured into the tall thin glass. The child in this case asked if the child contained the same amount to be mentally able to reverse the operation of pouring and the water from the origin shore, that is the fat glass, into a tall. And this this pre-operational is typically response that the tall thin glass contains more water. So this shows the child are not yet ready to engage in a conversation or a conceptualization. That is, the quality of the amount of matter stay in the same despite change in the dimension. The fourth feature is animism. Animism is the pre-operational child. An animism thinker attributes the human characters to an inanimate the object. For instance, consider that the pre-operational child who is asked a question, where do both goes to the night, or like or a response or to a bed or a counter to drawing, or pre-operational child which features a face drawn on a sun or a moon. The Piaget believed that the tendency decreased by the age of 6 or 7 as the child became more cognizant of his own personality. So, transductive reasoning is fine. The pre-operational child exhibits the fifth characteristic known as the transductive reasoning. This is how he or she reasons, either deductive or more inductive. Deductive is a reasoning from the general to specific. If we acknowledge that all the men are mortal and Socrates was a man, or Socrates has come to be. The thinking of pre-operational children in somewhere in between, moving from the particular with the touching on the German. The concrete operation or a operative period, where in contrast to the pre-operation, the child in the concrete operation now engage in logical thoughts or solving the concrete problems. Decentering is the child complete concerned with the operational stages. Reversibility, where the Piaget proposed that most important of these are reversible. Con- Conservation is the fact of the child in the concrete operational stage of development and is able to decenter the reverse operation. Classification of the other significant change in the problem solving or ability to be seen in the concrete operation. Seriation is the ability of the mental arrangement in a series of elements or according to the increasing or decreasing the size or volume of the weight. Next is the formal operational stage. Formal operational stage is the fourth stage of the cognitive development according to the Piaget. The formal operations stage, the development of the formal proves the ability of a reason or a construct the logical usefulness for all classes. Hypothetical reasoning translates with that of the perception and memory. Analogous reasoning, deductive reasoning. Analogous reasoning is when the children was fully explain why the analogy works or how each pair analogy connects with the other. Or deductive reasoning is for generalizing to specific. This type of reasoning is concerned with the deductive reasoning, and the child who is correctly responding to the following complex if then the statement. Reflective ability is in addition to that of the formal operational thinker possessing a sophisticated set of reflective ability. Thank you. This session is powered by 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. If you have any queries, please write down in the comment box. We will resolve it if the problem